Okay, today is all about piecewise functions. And that just means there's more than one piece. It will be presented to you in a couple of different ways. We'll have functions that we need to evaluate. We'll have to find domain and range, and then there will be a couple that you need to graph. And like I said, Alex was a lot friendlier than what I had prepared, so we're just going to tackle it this way. So I've got a function, g of x, and it says it's a quadratic whenever x is not negative 2. But when x is negative 2, it equals 4. So let me show you how this works, but you guys are writing it down, so I'm going to be quiet for just a second. And once you do know how these work, they're pretty dang friendly. Which one do you need to see, Cambry?
I just don't know what like the bottom line is.
Oh, yeah, we're going to plug in negative 4 and negative 2 and 3. Yes, sir.
Is that plus 4 or divided by?
Right here?
Yeah, like up.
Plus 4. Yeah.
It looks like divided for some reason.
I can see how it would. And if it continues to be a problem, we'll zoom in on the next one. Okay, so we're going to find 3 separate answers here. You can't see, but down in the box below it wants to know each value. So we're going to find g at negative 4. So we are substituting in negative 4. So I've got to decide what piece do I substitute it in for. Right here, when x is not negative 2, or when x is negative 2. What is our x? Negative 4. So which one does that belong to? The top one, right? Our x is not negative 2. So that means we're going to take our negative 4, we're going to substitute it in right there. Negative 1/3, negative 4 squared, plus 4. And we're going to evaluate. Make sure you follow your order of operations. Man, they're being, whoop, squeak over there. They're being unfriendly with the fractions. Negative 16/3 plus 4, so what do I need to change this to have a denominator of 3? 12. Combine those and I got negative 4/3. The fractions was probably, working with fractions was probably harder than figuring out our piecewise function, I bet. Okay, so then it wants to know, can I erase this? No. I'll wait for a second again. I forget how much I love you guys to have the problem already written down. It's kind of why I like my journal pages. Saves us both a lot of time. Okay. Next one. We want to find g of negative 2. Top or bottom? Bottom. All right, well, this time it just says 4. There's not even a variable to put in our value. Right? So it's as simple as this. When x is negative 2, guess what our function equals? 4. Done. And then the last one, g is 3. Top or bottom? Top. You guys have it figured out? We'd substitute in 3. This one's going to be a little friendlier with the fractions. Negative 1/3. 3 squared plus 4. What's 1/3 of 9? Good. Okay, on the next example, I'm not going to take time to do the algebra for you, but we'll talk about which one we'd substitute it in. All right. Okay, so this one, all values less than 2, in between, or negative 2, in between negative 2 and 2, and values greater than 2. So I've got 3 options this time. It says find, and you don't need to write this one down because I'm not going to see it through. Your one example is probably pretty good. Negative 2, when x is negative 2, top, middle, or bottom, which one would you substitute it into? X is negative 2. I see a negative 2 here and here. How do I know which one to use? The one with the equals to. That's really important. Right here, it can't equal negative 2. Here, it can, right? Questions on that? Okay. How about negative 1? Whoa. Try that again. How about when x is negative 1? Top, middle, or bottom?
Wait. Middle one.
Are we undecided, some of us? All right, so my x is negative 1. Right here, less than negative 2. Right here is the only place, right, that we can have an x of 1. It's in between negative 2 and 2. How about my bottom one? G is 4. Bottom, right? X value is greater than 2, greater than or equal to. Would you like to talk through one more of those? You feel okay? Okay, we started some of these last week. Domain and range, and you hear we've got our interval notation. Remind me what the round parenthesis versus the square bracket means. Go ahead, Chance.
The parenthesis means it can't be equal to it.
Okay.
It means it can be.
Okay, so if we've got the square bracket, it can equal it, right? So look back in your journals if you need to, but remember those are the brackets, and these are the parentheses, right? Domain, what values, x or y?
X.
Good. All right, let's do domain first, since that's what they have first. Now, a couple of you asked me how to do these in your homework last week. And when I came around to you, I had you imagine, if we're talking about domain, domain is my x-axis. I said smash this onto the x-axis. Use your imagination. So this would be right here, wouldn't it? And this would be down here. Do you agree? It'd be smashed in between there. So I am in between negative 2 and 5. Could we equal negative 2?
Yes.
Yes. Can I equal 5?
No.
You just did it. There's your domain. Now for our range, we're going to imagine smashing it onto our y-axis. So this would go here, and this would go here. Start with your lowest value first, which is negative 3, and it goes up to 3. Can it equal negative 3?
Yes.
Closed. Can it equal 3?
No.
No. Open. Is that kind of a friendly way to think about those? Okay. Let's make it harder. Yay! Isn't that what we always do to you in math? You feel really good about something and I'll say, okay, let's make it harder. All the same. This one's going to be different. Okay, how many pieces do I have? 2. So when we're talking about interval notation, do you remember what we need to put in between 2 intervals? Yeah, that union. All right. So if I'm going to do my domain, smash this onto the x-axis. It's in between -4 and 1. All right, and they're both parentheses, right? But then I've got another piece that is, did I mess up? Thank you. Thank you. In between 2 and 5. How do you feel about that? We're just doing the same thing we did a second ago, but we do it twice on the same problem, right? Yay. And then let's find the graphing stuff. Graph the function, and I might have to make this a little bit smaller. We'll write it large up here for back row. All right. Let me decrease the size on that real quick. Okay, so what do lines look like when they're just like y is 2? Do they have slope? Okay, I'm seeing hands all over the room going like this, up or down, right? So, which one is it? Is it a vertical or is it a horizontal line? Horizontal. So we've got y equals lines that go this way, right? And I have a line when I've got less than 0, a different line when x is 0, a different line when I am greater than 0. And so I've got to look at this in 3 different pieces. This might be my easiest one right here. I'm going to make a table right now, just for the simple fact that it'll help us think through it together as a class. I don't expect you to do a table every time. So this says values less than 0. However, I'm going to start on 0. And knowing when I graph this point, am I going to have a closed dot or an open dot? Open dot. I'm going to remind myself. Okay, give me a number smaller than 0.
-1.
Give me another one. All right. So when I have these values, what is our y value every time?
2.
2. Every single time. And this is our piece where x is less than 0. All right, so I'm going to grab that dot, and at 0, 2, and then I'm going to grab my line. Which one has an arrow on the end? This one, I'm assuming. All right. And then my next point is -1, 2, -2, 2, would have been -3, 2. It just kind of gives me an, what did I do? Okay, I'm going to have to undo that. Better. That kind of gives me an idea of what the line looks like. Is that all right? Why can't I have the line going on this side?
It has to be less than 3.
It has to be less than 0. Okay, at 0, the only thing it can equal is -3. So here is 0, -3. Is that going to draw a line, or is that just going to leave a point?
Probably just leave it one.
I hope so.
I think when you select another tool.
It's going to go away? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, and then let's do our other piece. So at 0 and numbers bigger than 0, I'll just do 1 and 2. It's always going to be -2, right? Closed dot or an open dot on that one? Open, because it is not or equal. Okay, at 0, -2, there's my open dot. I think. Try again. There we go. Now which way is our line going? 0, 1, 2. This way. Oh goodness. Forgot to select my tool. This the one I was on? No, this one. We'll do another one of those without the tables. We'll just talk through it now. See a couple of you finishing up notes, so I'll wait just a second.
So why does it just support it on the negative?
The only thing that it can equal here is 0. So if I was to create my table, x, f of x, the only thing I can plug in is 0. And I get -3. I can't plug in any other values. It's a good question. I'm glad you asked. I should have done the table up there. One more. Oh, geez. We're not going to do that many tables. And once you see that your eyebrows are all like this, once you see the pattern, this isn't as horrifying as it looks. I promise. Now, remind me, what do all these lines look like? They're horizontal lines, right? And I've got horizontal lines in between certain values. Are you guys taking notes on that? Okay. Because I'm about to make it tinier so I can see it. And can I get it? I want to get it all on there. Oh boy is right. All right, so -2. I know my line would be right through here. Do you guys agree? That's where y is -2. Okay, but I can only be in between what? -1.5 and -0.5. Now look at those inequalities. What are my dots going to be? This one is a less than, for those of you who can't see it because I made it so tiny. So those are going to be open. And then on this one is going to be closed. Let me see if that holds true for all of them. Open, closed, open, closed, closed, open, closed, open. All right, so I'm going to pay attention to that. And this is how it's going to work. So you told me this first piece, I'm at -2, but I can only be in between what? -1.5 and -0.5. And I'll grab my line and hook those together. All right, my next piece. Where does that horizontal line move up to? -1. And it is in between -0.5. Goodness, that's hard to see. And what? +0.5. You guys starting to see a pattern? What's it looking like? All right, let's do one more. In between half, I'm at 0 now. So in between half and 1.5. Okay, what does this kind of remind you of? Stairs. In fact, this is called a step function. Wonder why. Should I finish this out? At 1, we're in between 1.5. And I think they messed up on that, by the way, to tell you the truth. I think they have their signs backwards. Because could this be a function when it's got 2 dots right there? It couldn't. I'm really wondering if they had a typo there.
I think the 0 function is both.
Oh, they're both open. You're right. Thank you. They're both open there. Thank you. Let's get rid of this guy. That makes me feel better. My eyes were the typo, right?
The 0
No,
is
0 function.
Oh, this is the one that's both of them. Okay, thank you. I'm glad I have you guys. Okay. Now so you don't have to watch me be frustrated with technology. You guys get the idea? Okay, that's it. Your assignment should be open.